Commander Lisa Harper pressed her face against the cold metal window of the U.S. Dakota's bridge. The stars looked different out here, so far from Earth. She had been in space for 6 years, but the sight still made her heart race. Her mission was simple: find new worlds that humans could live on. But space was never simple. "Commander, we're getting something strange on the sensors," Jake Morrison called from the pilot's seat. He was young, maybe 25, with messy brown hair that he never bothered to fix. Lisa trusted him with her life every day. "What kind of strange?" Lisa asked, walking over to look at his screen. "Big ship, really big. And it's not from Earth." Jake's voice was tight with worry. Lisa felt her stomach drop. They had been searching for alien life for years, but finding it was different from wanting to find it. She looked at the screen and saw a massive shape moving toward them. It was at least 10 times bigger than their small scout ship. "Amy, can you tell me anything about that ship?" Lisa called to the engineer. Amy Blake looked up from her workstation. She was a small woman with bright red hair and the smartest person Lisa had ever met. "It's not using any technology I know about. The energy readings are off the scale. Should we run?" Tony Rivers asked from his medical station. He was the ship's doctor, a tall man with gentle hands who had saved all their lives more times than Lisa could count. Lisa stared at the alien ship. It was beautiful in a scary way, with smooth curves and lights that seemed to flow like water. Part of her wanted to run back to Earth as fast as possible. But another part of her, the part that had always gotten her into trouble, wanted to know more. "We came out here to find new life," she said. "Maybe they're friendly. And maybe they eat humans for breakfast," Jake said. Before Lisa could answer, the ship was on top of them. It happened so fast that she barely had time to think. One moment they were alone in space. The next moment they were surrounded by alien metal. The Dakota shook as some kind of beam grabbed them. "They're pulling us in," Amy said, her voice calm even though her hands were shaking. Lisa grabbed the radio. "This is Commander Lisa Harper of the United Earth ship Dakota. We come in peace. Please respond." Nothing. The alien ship pulled them into a huge opening in its side. Lisa watched through the window as they moved through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The walls were covered in symbols that hurt to look at. "What do we do?" Tony asked. Lisa looked at her crew. They were scared, but they trusted her. She had to be strong for them. "We stick together. We don't give them any information about Earth. And we remember that we're human." The Dakota stopped moving. They were in a huge room with a ceiling so high that Lisa couldn't see the top. Lights came on all around them, bright and cold. Then the doors of their ship opened by themselves. "I don't think we opened those," Jake said. 3 figures walked into their ship. Lisa's first thought was that they looked like giant insects, but wrong somehow. They had 6 legs and 4 arms, and their heads were shaped like triangles. Their skin was gray and seemed to move on its own. They wore no clothes, but their bodies were covered in metal pieces. That might have been armor or might have been part of them. The one in front made a sound like breaking glass. Suddenly, Lisa could understand what it was saying. "You are prisoners of the Zephyrian Empire. You will come with us. You will not resist." Lisa stepped forward. "I'm Commander Lisa Harper. These are my people. We're explorers, not soldiers. We don't want any trouble." The alien's head turned toward her. It had no eyes that she could see, but she felt like it was looking right through her. "Your wants are not important. You will be questioned. You will tell us about your world. You will tell us about your weapons. You will tell us about your people. And if we don't?" Lisa asked. The alien made that glass-breaking sound again. Lisa realized it might be laughing, but it was the coldest sound she had ever heard. "You will. All beings tell us what we want to know. Pain is a good teacher." Lisa felt ice in her stomach. These creatures were not friendly explorers like her. crew, they were conquerors, and they were very good at it. Take them, the alien said to the others. What happened next was fast and brutal. The aliens moved faster than anything Lisa had ever seen. Jake tried to fight, but one of them touched him with a small device, and he fell to the floor, his body shaking. Amy screamed and ran for the weapons locker, but another alien was already there, waiting for her. Lisa grabbed the emergency pistol from her belt, but before she could fire, something hit her in the back. Fire ran through her body, starting at her spine and spreading to every nerve. She fell to her knees, gasping for air. Interesting, the lead alien said. Your species feels pain much like the others. This will be simple. They were dragged from their ship through corridors that seemed to go on forever. Lisa tried to remember the way, but the aliens had done something to her that made it hard to think. Everything felt far away and fuzzy. They were separated. Lisa was taken to a small room with no windows and only one door. The walls were covered in the same symbols that had hurt to look at on the ship. In the center of the room was a chair that looked like it was made for torture. Sit, the lead alien said. Lisa didn't move. The alien touched her with the same device it had used on Jake. Pain shot through her body, worse than anything she had ever felt. She fell to her knees again, but this time she forced herself to look up at the alien. Humans are stubborn, she said through gritted teeth. You're going to find that out. The alien's head tilted to one side. We have broken many stubborn species. You will be no different. They strapped her to the chair with metal bands that felt warm against her skin. The lead alien stood in front of her, holding a device that looked like a twisted piece of metal, with lights running through it. This is a neural stimulator, it said. It will cause you pain beyond your ability to imagine. You will tell us about your world. You will tell us about your weapons. You will tell us how many of your kind exist. Lisa looked at the device, then at the alien. You know what the funny thing is about humans? What? We're really, really bad at doing what we're told. The alien activated the device. Pain exploded through Lisa's body, starting in her head and spreading like fire through every nerve. It was worse than being burned alive, worse than being torn apart, worse than anything she could have imagined. And then, somewhere in the back of her mind, she heard her father's voice. He had been a soldier too, and he had always told her that the best weapon against fear was laughter. When things get really bad, kiddo, he used to say, sometimes all you can do is laugh. The pain was still there, still terrible, but Lisa felt something else too. The alien was trying so hard to break her, standing there with its fancy device, probably thinking it was the scariest thing in the universe. And here she was, just a human, just a small woman from a small planet. And she was still thinking. A giggle escaped from her lips. The alien stopped the device. What was that sound? Lisa looked at it and giggled again. Then she started to laugh. Not because anything was funny, but because the alternative was to break, and she was not going to break. Not today. Not for these things. The alien stared at her, its triangle head moving from side to side. This is not a normal response. Lisa laughed harder. The alien stepped back from Lisa's chair. Its triangle head moved left and right, like it was trying to understand something that made no sense. Lisa was still laughing, even though tears ran down her face from the pain. Stop making that noise, the alien said. Lisa tried to stop, but every time she looked at the confused creature, she laughed harder. I'm sorry, she gasped between laughs. It's just ... You look so upset. Did your torture machine break? The alien made the glass-breaking sound again, but this time it sounded angry instead of cold. You will explain this behavior. No species laughs during neural stimulation. Well, Lisa said, wiping tears from her eyes, you've never met humans before. The alien activated the device again. Pain crashed through Lisa's body like a wave of fire. She screamed, But the scream turned into a laugh halfway through. The alien increased the power. Lisa's body shook in the chair, but she kept laughing. "This is impossible," the alien muttered. It turned off the device and left the room. Lisa sat in the chair, breathing hard. Her whole body hurt, but she felt something she hadn't expected. She felt proud. These things had conquered who knows how many worlds, but they couldn't understand her. That was something. The door opened again. This time, 3 aliens came in. One was the same one who had been questioning her. The other 2 were different, taller and with more metal pieces attached to their bodies. "Show them," the first alien said. The tall alien in the middle stepped forward. It had a device that looked even more twisted than the first one. "I am Chief Interrogator Zexahul. I have broken the will of 1,000 species. You will not laugh when I am finished with you." Lisa looked at the new alien. It was trying to look scary, puffing out its chest and making its metal pieces shine. "You know what? You look like a really angry bug. Has anyone ever told you that?" Zexahul activated its device. The pain was 10 times worse than before. Lisa felt like her brain was being pulled apart. She screamed so loud that her throat went raw. But even through the scream, she was fighting not to laugh because it was funny. Here were these advanced aliens with their advanced technology, and they were getting upset because one human wouldn't stop laughing. It was like watching someone try to scare a cat by barking like a dog. The pain stopped. Lisa hung her head, gasping for air. Then she looked up at Zexahul and grinned. "Is that all you got?" The 3 aliens made their glass-breaking sounds at the same time. They sounded like they were arguing. Lisa couldn't understand what they were saying, but she could guess. They were asking each other what was wrong with the human. "Bring in another one," Zexahul finally said. They dragged Lisa back to a cell that was just big enough for her to lie down. The walls were the same gray metal as everything else on the ship. There was no bed, no chair, nothing but cold metal. Lisa sat with her back against the wall and tried to think. Her body hurt everywhere, but her mind was clear. The aliens didn't understand human behavior. That was good. That was something she could use. After what felt like hours, she heard footsteps in the corridor. Then she heard something that made her heart jump. Someone was shouting in English. "Let go of me, you big bugs." It was Jake's voice. Lisa pressed her ear to the door and listened. She could hear him being dragged down the corridor. She could hear him fighting, even though she knew the aliens were much stronger than him. "Lisa!" Jake shouted. "Lisa, are you okay?" "I'm here," Lisa shouted back. "I'm okay." The sounds moved away. Lisa sat back down and waited. She didn't have to wait long before she heard something else. Something that made her smile. Jake was laughing. It was coming from somewhere nearby, probably the room next to hers. She could hear him laughing, and she could hear the aliens making their confused glass-breaking sounds. They were asking him the same questions they had asked her. They were using their torture devices on him, and he was laughing. Lisa pressed her ear to the wall. She could hear Jake's voice, weak but clear. "You guys are really bad at this. Did you go to evil alien school? Because you should ask for your money back." Lisa grinned. Jake was remembering what she had told him. They were staying human. Aliens brought Jake back to his cell an hour later. Lisa could hear them talking in their language, and they sounded frustrated. Then they brought Amy. Amy was quiet for a long time. Lisa started to worry that maybe the aliens had found a way to break her. Amy was the smartest of them, but she was also the most sensitive. Lisa had seen her cry over injured animals. Then she heard it. Amy's laugh was different from Jake's. It was higher, more musical, but it was still a laugh. "Oh my goodness," Amy's voice came through the walls. "Are you trying to make me cry? Because this is really not working. I stubbed my toe. Harder than this every morning." Lisa almost laughed out loud. Amy was making jokes about alien torture. Sweet, gentle Amy was making fun of creatures that had conquered the galaxy. They brought Tony in last. Tony was quiet for even longer than Amy had been. Lisa started to worry that maybe the aliens had figured out how to deal with humans. Maybe they had hurt Tony too badly. Then she heard the sound she had been hoping for. Tony's deep, rumbling laugh filled the corridor. "You know what your problem is?" Tony's voice was tired but amused. "You're trying too hard. Pain is just pain. It's not the end of the world. Back home, people pay money to feel pain like this. We call it extreme sports." Lisa laughed so hard she had to cover her mouth. Tony was comparing alien torture to extreme sports. These creatures had no idea what they were dealing with. Over the next few hours, Lisa listened to her crew being questioned one by one. Each time, the aliens seemed to get more frustrated. Each time, her crew laughed harder. Jake started making up stories about Earth. He told them humans were 10 feet tall and had acid for blood. He told them Earth was surrounded by a ring of nuclear weapons. He told them humans could survive being thrown into the sun. Amy started giving the aliens engineering advice. She told them their torture devices were poorly designed and inefficient. She suggested improvements that would make them hurt more. The aliens didn't seem to know how to respond to that. Tony started psychoanalyzing the aliens. He told them they probably had trouble making friends because they were so negative. He suggested they try group therapy. Through it all, they laughed. Even when the pain was so bad that they screamed, they found ways to laugh. They made jokes about the aliens' appearance, their technology, their methods. They turned the interrogation into a comedy show. Lisa realized something was happening. The aliens were starting to doubt themselves. She could hear it in their voices. When they talked to each other, they were confused, frustrated, maybe even a little scared. These creatures had built an empire on fear and pain. They had conquered world after world by breaking the will of their enemies. But they had never met a species that could laugh at pain. They had never met humans. The door to Lisa's cell opened. Zexahol stood there, looking at her with its eyeless face. "You will explain this behavior," it said. "Your species is damaged. You do not respond to pain correctly." Lisa looked at the alien and smiled. "We respond to pain just fine. It hurts, we don't like it. But we don't let it control us. This is impossible. All species are controlled by pain. It is the natural order." "Maybe for you," Lisa said, "but humans are different. We've been dealing with pain for thousands of years. Wars, diseases, accidents. Heartbreak. We learned something you never did." "What?" Lisa's smile got wider. "We learned that pain doesn't have to mean surrender. Sometimes it just means you're still alive." The alien stared at her for a long moment. Then it left without another word. Lisa sat back against the wall and listened to her crew still laughing. In their cells, they were prisoners on an alien ship, millions of miles from home. They were being tortured by creatures that had conquered the galaxy, and they were winning. Lisa woke up to the sound of new voices in the corridor. The aliens were speaking in their own language, but she could hear the worry in their glass-breaking sounds. They were talking faster than usual, and their voices were higher. The door to HFY her cell opened. A new alien walked in, different from the others. This one was taller and had more metal pieces covering its body. The metal looked older, more expensive. Lisa guessed this was someone important. "I am Dr. Kethmer," the alien said. Its voice was different too, smoother and more careful. "I study the minds of different species. I have come to understand your unusual behavior." Lisa sat up straighter. "Let me guess. You're here because your torture experts can't figure out why we keep laughing." "That is correct." Dr. Kethmer moved closer to Lisa's cell. "In 3,000 years of conquest, the Zephyrian Empire has never encountered a species that responds to pain with amusement. You are either broken as a species, or you have developed something we do not understand. I vote for the second." "1," Lisa said. "We're not broken, we're just human." Dr. Kethmer pulled out a small device and pointed it at Lisa. "This will record our conversation. I want to understand how your species thinks. Will you explain why you laugh when you should?" Scream? Lisa thought about it. These aliens had captured her and her crew. They had tortured them. They probably planned to invade Earth. She should tell them nothing. But then she realized something. The more she explained about humans, the more confused these aliens became. They couldn't understand human nature, which meant they couldn't fight it properly. Maybe she could use their confusion against them. "Sure," Lisa said. "I'll tell you about humans. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of a joke? A joke? You know, something funny. Something that makes you laugh." Dr. Kethmer. Triangle head tilted to one side. "The Zephyrians do not have humor. We find it inefficient." Lisa stared at the alien. "You don't have humor at all?" "Humor serves no purpose. It wastes time and energy. Efficient species do not develop humor." Lisa felt sorry for the alien, which was weird considering it was her captor. "That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. No wonder you don't understand us." "Explain." Lisa leaned back against the wall. "Humans have been making jokes for as long as we've existed. We make jokes when we're happy, when we're sad, when we're scared, when we're in pain. It's how we deal with things. This is inefficient. Maybe. But it keeps us sane. See, humans figured out something a long time ago. Life is hard, really hard. Bad things happen to good people. People get sick, people die, people hurt each other. If we just sat around being sad about it all the time, we'd go crazy." Dr. Kethmer was recording everything on his device. "So you use humor to avoid madness? Not just that. We use it to fight back. When something terrible happens to us, we have two choices. We can let it break us, or we can find a way to laugh at it. When we laugh at something, it has less power over us. This does not make logical sense." Lisa smiled. "Logic isn't everything. Let me tell you a story. A long time ago on Earth, there was a terrible war. People were trapped in underground shelters while bombs fell on their city. They were scared, hungry, and many of their friends were dead." Dr. Kethmer leaned closer. "What did they do? They made jokes. They told funny stories. They laughed at the bombs falling on their heads. They made fun of their enemies. Even when they were dying, they found ways to laugh. And you know what? It worked. The people who could laugh were the ones who survived. Survived how? Because laughter gave them hope. It reminded them that they were still human, still alive, still able to feel joy even in the worst times. And when people have hope, they fight harder. They don't give up." Dr. Kethmer was quiet for a long moment. "You are saying that humor is a weapon? The best weapon we have. Your torture devices hurt our bodies, but they can't touch our spirits. As long as we can laugh, we can't be broken. But you feel the pain. I have observed this. You scream, you cry, your bodies shake." Lisa nodded. "Oh, we feel it. It hurts. Like hell, but feeling pain doesn't mean surrendering to it. Humans have a saying, 'This too shall pass.' No matter how bad things get, they always get better eventually. We just have to hang on until they do. And laughter helps you hang on?" "Exactly. When we laugh at something, we're saying that it's not the end of the world. We're saying that we're stronger than whatever is trying to hurt us." Dr. Kethmer put away his recording device. "I must study this further. Your species is very strange. We get that a lot." The alien left, and Lisa was alone again. But not for long. A few hours later, she heard more voices in the corridor. This time, it sounded like a lot of aliens, all talking at once. She pressed her ear to the door and listened. She couldn't understand their language, but she could hear the emotion in their voices. They sounded worried, maybe even frightened. The door opened again. This time it was Zexel, the chief interrogator. He looked angry. Dr. Kethmer has shared his findings with the command staff, Zexel said. They are asking questions about our methods. What kind of questions? They want to know why we cannot break 4 members of a primitive species. They want to know if our interrogation techniques are flawed. Lisa tried not to smile. That must be embarrassing for you. Zexahol's metal pieces rattled, which Lisa had learned meant the alien was very angry. You think this is amusing? A little bit, yeah. You guys have been conquering worlds for thousands of years, and 4 humans are making you question everything you know. That's pretty funny. We are not questioning anything. We are simply adjusting our approach. What's the new approach? Zexahol hesitated. Lisa could tell he didn't want to answer, but his pride was hurt. We are bringing in specialists from other worlds. Experts who have studied unusual species. More torture experts? Pain specialists, psychological warfare experts. Beings who understand the minds of primitive species. Lisa laughed out loud. You're bringing in more people to figure out why we won't stop laughing? That's even funnier than the torture thing. Zexahol made his angry glass-breaking sound and left. Lisa sat back down grinning. The aliens were panicking. They were calling for help because they couldn't break 4 humans. From the other cells, she could hear her crew still making jokes. Jake was singing an old song from Earth, but he had changed the words to make fun of the aliens. Amy was explaining to someone how they could improve their spaceship design. Tony was giving relationship advice to what sounded like a very confused alien guard. Lisa realized that something important was happening. These aliens had built their entire empire on the idea that pain could control anyone. They had probably never failed to break a prisoner before. But now, for the first time, they were facing people who couldn't be broken, and it was driving them crazy. Dr. Kethmer came back the next day with more questions. He wanted to know about human history, human culture, human psychology. Lisa answered his questions honestly, because every answer made the aliens more confused. She told him about human soldiers who joked while they were bleeding. She told him about human doctors who made their patients laugh while they were dying. She told him about human children who played games in the ruins of bombed cities. Your species is very resilient, Dr. Kethmer said finally. We have to be. The universe is a dangerous place. If you can't laugh at danger, it will eat you alive. But you also feel fear, correct? You feel sadness, anger, despair? Of course we do. We're not robots. We feel everything. The difference is we don't let our feelings control us. We control them. How? Lisa thought about how to explain it. Imagine you're in a dark room and you're scared. You have 2 choices. You can sit in the corner and be afraid of the dark, or you can light a candle and laugh at how silly you were to be scared. Laughter is our candle. Double quotes. Dr. Kethmer was quiet for a long time. This information is disturbing to my people. Why? Because it suggests that our methods of control may not work on your species, and if they do not work on your species, they might not work on other species either, Lisa finished. You're wondering if there are other worlds out there that could resist you if they knew how. The alien didn't answer, but Lisa could see the truth in his body language. The Zephyrians were scared. They were scared that their empire was built on a lie. They were scared that pain wasn't the ultimate weapon they thought it was. They were scared of human laughter. Lisa had been counting the alien sleep cycles. By her estimate, they had been prisoners for 6 days. The aliens were getting more nervous every day. She could hear them arguing in the corridors, their glass-breaking voices getting louder and more frantic. Dr. Kethmer visited her every day now. He asked more questions, recorded more answers, and seemed more worried each time he left. Lisa was starting to like the alien scientist. He was curious about humans instead of just wanting to hurt them. The Command Council is meeting today, Dr. Kethmer said during his latest visit. They are discussing what to do with your species. Let me guess, Lisa said. They're not sure if they should kill us or study us. You are partially correct. Some want to eliminate your species before it becomes a threat. Others want to capture more humans for study. A few are suggesting that we avoid your world entirely. Lisa felt a chill. If the aliens decided to attack Earth, there was nothing she could do to stop them. Her home world had no idea these creatures existed. What do you think they should do? Lisa asked. Dr. Kethmer was quiet for a moment. I think your species is more dangerous than my people realize. Not because you have powerful weapons, but because you have powerful ideas. Ideas can be dangerous. The most dangerous thing in the universe is an idea that spreads. Your idea that pain cannot break the spirit, that laughter is stronger than fear. If other conquered species learned this, your empire would fall apart, Lisa finished. Yes, Lisa looked at the alien scientist. Is that what you want? I am a scientist. I want to understand truth. And the truth is that my people have built their power on a lie. We told ourselves that all species can be controlled through pain. You have proven that is not true. So what are you going to do about it? Before Dr. Kethmer could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the ship. The lights changed from their normal cold white to flashing red. Lisa could hear aliens running in the corridors, shouting orders. What's happening? Lisa asked. Dr. Kethmer looked confused. I do not know. The ship is not under attack. This is an internal emergency. The alarms stopped after a few minutes, but Lisa could still hear aliens talking urgently nearby. Dr. Kethmer left to find out what was happening. He came back an hour later, looking shaken. There has been an incident in the lower levels, he said. Some of the conquered species we use as slaves have misbehaved. Misbehaved how? They were exposed to recordings of your interrogations. They heard your laughter. They began to laugh as well. When the guards tried to punish them, they laughed harder. Lisa felt her heart jump. The recordings of us? Dr. Kethmer had them played throughout the ship as part of his research. He wanted other scientists to hear the unusual sounds you make, but the slaves heard them too. And now they're laughing? 15 different species from 7 different worlds. They are all making the same sounds you make. They are refusing to work. They are. Dr. Kethmer paused, like he was trying to find the right words. They are acting like humans. Lisa tried not to smile, but she couldn't help it. How many slaves does this ship have? Nearly 1,000. And they're all laughing now? Not all, but enough to disrupt ship operations. The command council is meeting an emergency session. Dr. Kethmer left again. Lisa pressed her ear to the door and listened. She could hear something she had never heard before on the alien ship. In the distance, from somewhere far below, she could hear laughter. Not human laughter, but alien laughter. Different sounds from different species, but all expressing the same thing humans did when they laughed. Joy, defiance, hope. Jake's voice came through the wall from the next cell. Lisa, do you hear that? I hear it, Lisa called back. We started something, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. Amy's voice joined the conversation. How many aliens do you think are on this ship? Thousands, Tony answered from his cell. But if the slaves are starting to rebel, Lisa understood what he meant. The Zephyrians were outnumbered by their own slaves. If those slaves stopped being afraid, stopped letting pain control them, the aliens were in serious trouble. The laughter from below got louder. Lisa could hear different voices now, different species. Some sounded like birds, some like dogs, some like nothing she had ever heard. But they were all laughing. Heavy footsteps came down the corridor. Lisa's cell door opened. Zexahol stood there with 4 other aliens, all carrying weapons. This is your fault, Zexahol said. His voice was shaking with anger. You have infected our ship with your madness. It's not madness, Lisa said. It's freedom. The slaves were controlled. They were useful. Now they are useless. Now they're people instead of slaves. There's a difference. Zexahol raised his weapon. You will make them stop. I can't make them stop. And even if I could, I wouldn't. Then you will die. Lisa looked at the weapon pointed at her. She had known this moment might come. She had always known the aliens might decide to kill them instead of trying to understand them. Go ahead, she said. Kill me. Kill all of us. But you can't kill what we've given them. What have you given them? Hope, the knowledge that they don't have to be afraid. You can kill us, but they'll remember that 4 humans looked at your torture devices and laughed. They'll remember that pain doesn't have to mean surrender. From somewhere in the ship, an explosion echoed through the corridors. The aliens with Zexahol looked at each other nervously. The slaves are fighting back, Lisa said. They're not just laughing anymore. They're fighting. Another explosion, closer this time. The lights flickered. You need to get to the command center, one of the other aliens said to Zexahol. The situation is getting worse. Zexahol lowered his weapon. We will deal with the slaves first. Then we will return for you. They left, locking the door behind them. Lisa could hear them running down the corridor. More explosions echoed through the ship. The laughter from below was getting louder and closer. Lisa, Jake called from his cell. What's happening? Revolution, Lisa called back. We started a revolution. With laughter? With hope. We showed them that fear isn't the only choice. The ship shook as another explosion went off. This one was much closer. Lisa could hear fighting in the corridors now. Alien voices shouting orders, weapons firing, and underneath it all, the sound of freed slaves laughing as they fought. Lisa sat down and waited. She had done what she came to space to do, in a way. She had made contact with alien life. She had learned something about them, and they had learned something about humans. The door to her cell suddenly opened. Lisa looked up, expecting to see Zexahol or another Zephyrian. Instead, she saw something that made her blink in surprise, thought it was an alien, but not a Zephyrian. This one looked like a giant cat with blue fur and 6 legs. It was holding a Zephyrian weapon and wearing pieces of Zephyrian armor that were too big for it. Are you the human who laughs? The cat alien asked in broken English. I'm one of them, Lisa said. I am Veltar. I was slave for 7 years. I heard your voice on the speakers. I heard you laugh at the pain givers. And I remembered that. I used to laugh too, before they broke me. But you showed me that broken things can be fixed. The cat alien held out its hand to Lisa. Come, we are taking the ship. The pain givers cannot hurt us if we are not afraid. Lisa took the offered hand and stood up. What about my crew? They are already free. The one who sings is helping in the engine room. The small female is working on the ship's weapons. The gentle male is helping injured fighters. Lisa followed Veltar out of her cell and down the corridor. Everywhere she looked, she saw freed slaves working together. They were different species from different worlds, but they were all doing the same thing humans did when they were free. They were laughing. As they fought, the revolution had begun. Lisa followed Veltar through corridors that looked like war zones. Smoke filled the air, and pieces of broken alien technology lay everywhere. The sounds of fighting echoed from all directions, but underneath it all was something beautiful. Dozens of different species were laughing together as they fought for their freedom. How many Zephyrians are left fighting? Lisa asked as they ran. Maybe 200, Veltar said. They are trapped in the command center and the upper levels. Most surrendered when they realized their pain weapons do not work anymore. The weapons stopped working? No, we stopped being afraid of them. When you are not afraid of pain, pain weapons are just annoying. They reached a large room that looked like it used to be a storage area. Now it was full of freed slaves from a dozen different worlds. Lisa saw bird-like creatures with bright feathers working alongside rock-like beings with 4 arms. A group that looked like walking trees was helping repair damaged equipment. In the center of it, all were her crew members. Jake was covered in alien engine grease, but smiling as he worked on some kind of control panel. Amy was explaining something to a group of creatures that looked like giant spiders. Tony was bandaging the wounds of injured fighters. "Lisa!" Jake shouted when he saw her. He ran over and hugged her tight. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Lisa said. "Better than fine." "What's our situation?" "We've taken most of the ship," Amy said, joining them. The slaves knew the ship better than the Zephyrians thought. They were able to cut power to the upper levels and trap the remaining aliens. "Any word from the outside?" Tony walked over, wiping his hands on a piece of cloth. "That's the interesting part. Apparently, this ship was supposed to report back to the Zephyrian fleet 3 days ago. When it didn't, they sent scouts to look for it. Are we about to be attacked?" "That's what we thought," Jake said. But then something amazing happened. Veltar made a sound that Lisa realized was laughter. "Tell her about the message." Amy grinned. "We sent a message to the scout ships. We told them what happened here. We told them about humans, about laughter, about fighting fear with hope. And 3 of the scout ships have had slave revolts of their own," Tony said. "Word is spreading through the Zephyrian fleet faster than they can stop it." Lisa stared at her crew. "You're telling me that our laughing started a revolution across multiple ships?" "Not just ships," Jake said. "Some of the scout ships made it back to Zephyrian worlds before their crews revolted. The message is spreading to the planets too." New voice joined the conversation. "The Empire is falling apart." Lisa turned to see Dr. Kethmer walking toward them. The alien scientist looked tired and confused, but he wasn't carrying any weapons. "Dr. Kethmer," Lisa said, "are you our prisoner now?" "I am whatever you want me to be," the alien said. "I helped design the systems that kept these beings enslaved. I owe them whatever debt they choose to collect." Veltar looked at the Zephyrian. "Scientist, you are the one who recorded the human voices?" "Yes, then you helped free us. The debt is paid." Dr. Kethmer's triangle head tilted in that way Lisa had learned meant confusion. "I do not understand. I was part of the system that enslaved you." "You were," Veltar agreed. "But you were also the one who let us hear the humans laugh. You showed us that there was another way to live. Sometimes good things come from bad choices." Lisa watched the exchange with interest. Even in the middle of a revolution, these freed beings were choosing forgiveness over revenge. "That was very human of them." Double quotes Dr. Kethmer, Lisa said. "What's happening in the rest of the Empire?" "Chaos," the alien replied. "The Central Command is trying to contain the spread of rebellion, but it is happening too fast. Worlds that have been enslaved for centuries are rising up. Fleet commanders are losing entire squadrons to slave revolts. All because we laughed? All because you showed them that resistance was possible. For generations, conquered species believed that submission was their only choice. You proved that was a lie." A new alarm started sounding throughout the ship. This one was different from the emergency alarms Lisa had heard before. This one sounded almost musical. "What's that?" Lisa asked. "Victory song," Veltar explained. "The remaining Zephyrians have surrendered. The ship is ours." Cheers erupted throughout the room. Dozens of different species celebrating in dozens of different ways, but all expressing the same joy. Lisa felt tears in her eyes as she watched former slaves embrace their freedom. "What happens now?" Amy asked. Jake pointed to a large screen on the wall. "We've been monitoring Zephyrian communications. The Empire is collapsing faster than anyone thought possible. Some worlds are declaring independence. Some fleets are turning against their own commanders. And some are looking for us, Tony added. Looking for us? Dr. Kethmer stepped forward. Word has spread about the humans who laugh at pain. Some see you as heroes. Others see you as a threat that must be eliminated. Lisa thought about that. So we're either going to be celebrated or hunted, or both, Veltar said. But that is tomorrow's problem. Today, we are free. Amy was studying readings on a nearby control panel. Lisa, I'm picking up human ships on long-range sensors. Earth must have sent a search party when we didn't report back. Lisa felt her heart jump. Home. Her crew could go home. But as she looked around the room at all the freed beings, she realized something. These people had no home to go back to. The Zephyrians had conquered their worlds, scattered their people, destroyed their cultures. Jake, Lisa said, can this ship make it to Earth? Easily. It's way more advanced than anything we have. Good, we're taking it home. All of us? Veltar asked. Lisa looked at the cat-like alien. All of us. Earth needs to know what's happening out here. And you all deserve a safe place to figure out what comes next. Dr. Kethmer stepped closer. The Zephyrian government will not allow this. They will send fleets to recapture this ship and eliminate the witnesses. Let them try, Lisa said. Earth will be ready for them. And now that the word is spreading, they won't just be fighting humans. They'll be fighting every species they ever conquered. Tony was looking at another screen. Lisa, the human ships are trying to contact us. Put them through. A familiar voice filled the room. This is Admiral Clark of the U.S. Washington. Unknown vessel, please identify yourself. Lisa walked over to the communication controls. Admiral Clark, this is Commander Lisa Harper of the U.S. Dakota. We're coming home, and we're not coming alone. Lisa? We thought you were dead. What's your status? Lisa looked around the room at her crew, at Veltar, at Dr. Kethmer, at all the freed slaves who were listening to every word. Our status is victorious, Admiral. We came out here looking for new life, and we found it. More than that, we freed it. We're bringing back friends, intelligence about a hostile alien empire, and proof that humans have something special to offer the galaxy. What kind of something special? Lisa smiled. Hope, Admiral. We're bringing back hope. She ended the transmission and turned to face the room full of freed beings. Everyone ready to see Earth? The response was a chorus of laughter from a dozen different species. The most beautiful sound Lisa had ever heard. 3 weeks later, Lisa stood in front of the United Earth Council, giving her report. The freed slaves had been welcomed to Earth, and several had chosen to stay and help prepare humanity for what was coming. Dr. Kethmer had provided detailed intelligence about Zephyrian technology and tactics, but the most important thing Lisa reported was simple. Laughter was contagious. Hope was contagious. And once people learned they didn't have to be afraid, fear lost its power forever. The Zephyrian Empire was still collapsing. Worlds were declaring independence every day. The galaxy was changing, and it had all started with 4 humans who refused to let pain break their spirits. Lisa ended her report with the same words she had spoken to her alien captors. Pain doesn't have to mean surrender. Sometimes it just means you're still alive. And as long as you're alive, you can choose to laugh. The revolution was spreading across the stars, carried by the simple human truth that hope was stronger than fear, and laughter was the best weapon against despair. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as teachers. Teachers of hope.